Hello, everybody. I hope you are having a great evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, because I know there's a lot of people around the world that will be watching this interview today. And I really want to thank you because I am honored today to interview Carlos Rene and the Ramirez tribe. You see, today we launched our amazing and phenomenal book, Dear to Be Me Through Cancer, getting crystal clear on how to fly. And we have phenomenal authors around the world that have participated in this book. But today, like right now, I'm going to bring the Carlos Ramirez tribe, which is such an honor because uh, I knew their mom, and it's amazing to see their children now. Rene, thank you for being here and saying yes to write this chapter. And Rita, thank you for meeting with me constantly in this journey of writing this chapter. And all of you, thank you for contributing, because it is an honor and a way to have like a memorial tribute to your mom, which is very meaningful. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put you guys on the spotlight, and then I'm just gonna come remove myself, and we'll let first who's the oldest here? Carlos, Rene. Okay, we'll
Yes.
let you kind of begin. You can tell you can tell your story as to, you know, a little bit of the story. Like, we don't want to give them a whole lot, right? Because we want them to read the chapter, but we do want to tell the audience that's listening, like, how did it affect you, and then what transformation did it make for you, and then something you want to say special about your mom. It would be good, and then we'll come back to the rest of the people that are here, your brothers and sisters. Okay, so we're going to give you the spotlight. Ready?
Okay. So the way obviously it affected me. It was devastating. Going through or seeing my mom in pain. And I still remember, the moment my dad told me about it. Um, it it was very difficult. Um, and I was able to help my mom through the process of the doctor and all that stuff. So I was the one that would take her, and we're so accustomed to hearing her laugh and uh, just have a good time. And when going through the chemo and all that stuff, sometimes it felt um, like a challenge to bring that out, because everything what she was going to. But with the help of all my siblings, my dad, we tried to make the best of it. um, Always, you know try to be us, and um, not something else to where we had cancer as the main thing. It was more, let's just be us and enjoy this moment. And as the oldest, it's kind of like, yes, I have my parents, but I felt the duty to also watch and take care over my siblings, and um, be there as a non-parent, but as the older brother. And it was challenging, especially since I be as the oldest, I kind of see everybody grow up, and everybody has their ways. And I took care of them for each one in different ways. And to see them go through that as well was also um, heartbreaking. And let alone my dad. I know he tried to hide a lot of the um, pain, but being so he can be there and be that parent that you know, helps us get through this. But it was challenging, but the reminder was always just to be present and enjoy the moment there.
Now tell me, Carlos, like, um, what is something that your mom said that you remember and that really you carry with you forever now?
Um, my mind goes just to like little moments of laughter, of fun. I know she was always my biggest fan, and what I do with the art and all that stuff. And I think I I still kind of talk to her, or if there's a situation, I kind of hear what she would say, or something like that, and it just keeps her still here. Um, but yeah, my mind just goes to like past memories or her songs when she would sing. Um, now, like the songs that she would sing, when I hear them, they're just not the same no more because it's not the way she sang it. But that's what I remember, especially recently. I was able to go to one of the festivals here, and some of the songs that were sung, she would sing them, and they just now they mean so much more, and I I miss my mom.
Yeah. So what do you do for like in I mean, what do you do as a career profession or
I'm a graphic artist.
okay.
I do branding. I specialize in branding. I do apparel design, um, and this drawing. I got the drawing from my mom and the creativity from my dad, and it's something that was always um, encouraged growing up. And like I tell everybody, as a kid, I started drawing on the walls, then drawing on paper, and right now I'm drawing on the walls again with murals and stuff. So
Beautiful.
yeah,
That's wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and bring Rebecca. Thank you.
thank you.
Mhm. Hey, Rebecca.
Hi,
So, how are you doing, Rebecca?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. Well, tell us who you are, what you do, and then tell us a little bit about your mom, something that you remember that, when you went through the situation, but then how did it transform you now and make you the person you are today?
First off, I'm Rebecca. I'm the youngest of the girls, and I'm the sixth out of the eight of the kids. Um, I'm currently unemployed, but I just had a baby back in December, so I'm currently a stay-home mom and enjoying the all the what comes to parenthood. Um, but when my mom was diagnosed, I was very young, and I didn't really understand it then. And it was very difficult. I do remember when my dad shared the news, and just when you're young, you hear cancer, and the first thought is like, majority of the time, people pass. And I didn't know much information or history behind it, but my mom never stopped being mom bear. She was always smiling and laughing, and she would hide her pain, and when she would show it, or it's when, okay, it did hurt, and it affected her a lot. But even when she was hurting, even when she was struggling, even when she was weak, she never failed to encourage us. She never failed to remind us how much she loved us. She never failed to remind us that, to continue to having a relationship with our faith and with God. So that was always there. And with my mom, I felt like I had a personal relationship with her when it came to, I guess, like the mental emotional health. And I've always struggled to express what I'm trying to share or say what I feel. And I've had, one-on-one conversations with my mom and just trying to talk. And she would always tell me, her and my dad would always just tell me to write it out. Um, and that would help me a lot to, um, sorry, that would help me a lot to, go through the, emotion of the journey. Um, Unfortunate, sad is to say, I haven't written, and I think that it's very hard. It's something that we shared, and just there's a lot of good memories from my mom, but it's kind of hard to, think back of that and not get emotional.
Yeah. And it's really hard because I still get emotional when we were reading and editing your chapter. Me and the editor were tearing up with your stories, and as I completely, my children went through the same experience, so I completely understand, and it's healthy to cry, because it cleans the soul, it heals the soul, and it's just a natural process. But thank you, Rebecca. Thank you for showing up, because there's a lot of siblings out there. There's a lot of sons and daughters of other patients that have been diagnosed with cancer. There's 1.9 million people in a year that will be diagnosed with some type of cancer. And people need to hear your story, because a lot of people will live in this dark place during that time of being diagnosed. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to express themselves. However, telling our stories and being humble and raw still, and being in our emotions, I think that people need to see that it's okay to cry. It's okay to be in our feelings and to share and express what we're feeling. So thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Carlos Roberto Ramirez. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice. So you are, what number are you?
Number five.
Number five.
Yeah,
Okay.
2 boys, but number 5 overall.
Okay, beautiful. Well, I'm going to leave the space for you, and maybe you can talk about some aha moments that you guys captured during the whole process. Yes, it was painful. Yes, it was a big heart journey, but there was something that you captured and you learned, and you're like, you know what? It made you who you are today. And then tell people who you are and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my name is Carlos Roberto Ramirez, and I currently work at Most Precious Blood Catholic Church in Corpus Christi, Texas, and I oversee the young adult ministry, the youth ministry, our altar boys, and I also work with the school that's attached to it. So I teach 1st through 5th music, 3rd through 5th PE, and 4th and 5th religion. And so, pretty handful here, but nonetheless, um, when it comes to like the aha moments, one of the biggest things that I take away that I still carry with me is there's 2 moments in particular. Number one, I went out to do missionary work with a program called Totus Tuus. And before leaving, I knew my mom was going to have a procedure that was going to be a heavy task and a heavy burden on her. And I remember she was like with a walker or on a wheelchair. And I remember telling her, I said, Mom, when I come back from this trip, you are going to walk to me. And, my mom has always accepted any challenge that came her way. And sure enough, she was like, okay, I will. And so sure enough, 2 months, a full 2 months had passed. The day of her surgery, I was able to talk to her post-surgery with my dad. And at the time, I was sitting inside a chapel, just praying to God, just hoping that everything was well. And I remember just being able to have that conversation with them in the midst of being in that chapel by myself, with Christ in the Eucharist, in the tabernacle, and just being able to have that conversation. My mom was always in good spirits. It was rare when we would find her in not so good of emotions and spirits, just because she was always joyful. And I think that's one of the things that she left us, well, all my siblings, just the sincerity of being joyful. And so hearing her that everything went well, the surgery was a success. My father and my mom, they were talking to me about what had happened and what they experienced and then what they look forward to. And so I was really hopeful. And so we got to this moment where I was getting home a bit earlier than what she anticipated. And so sure enough, they actually have this on video, and it's one of the most cherished videos that I have. When I get home and I see her, and she is stunned because one, she's not expecting it. And then two, she's just blown away by the fact of what we talked about before I left actually ended up happening. And so she gets up and she has a walker still, and just to be able to walk to me. And she makes her way towards me, and we have an embrace that is probably the embrace of the relation that we had. And we probably stayed there for a good while, just in each other's arms and in each other's constellation, because what I had just experienced, just being away from family, being away doing missionary work, while being able to be attentive to her as far as being able to pray for her, but being able to keep up with her, to finally have that embrace. That for me was one of the pivotal moments in my personal journey with this whole cancer journey that we had to endure with mom, because I know how much it meant to her to not just accept the challenge but fulfill it by her walking to me. And that was one of the greatest joys that I have in my heart, which kind of segues to probably the pivotal moment with her and I. A week before she passed, I was having my heart was troubled, and I didn't know why. It was just heavily troubled. And I remember one night I made my way to her bedside, and I'm kind of somewhat crying. You can hear the sniffles, and I was trying not to make a lot of noise. My parents were sleeping, and so I don't want to bother them, but I just want to be by her side. And she apparently heard me. She had really good hearing. That's where I get it from, just the music, And so sure enough, she wakes up and she says, "¿Qué tienes? Like, what's the matter?" And I said, "I don't know, Mom. I don't know. I'm afraid. I don't know what's going to happen." And then she gets up, and then I'm like, "Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is like one of those talks." And she gets up and she looks at me and she says, "Am I not here? Like, I'm your mom and I'm here and I love you. Why are you afraid?" And I couldn't answer that question. I said, I don't know, Mom. I don't know what's in my heart. And so she reiterates and reaffirms and consoles, and she tells me, "Be not afraid." And just having this love for God and having this love for scripture, she tells me, she kind of throws it back at me and says, "Well, you have this faith. You have this faith that you claim to have." And my mom was big on, if you walk the walk, you got to, if you talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. She's really big on that. And so she says, "Okay, you who have this faith, you say you believe, you say you have faith, believe it." And it says, she asked me the question, like, "Okay, how many times in scripture does it say be not afraid?" And sure enough, it's like 365, like one for every day of the year. And she says, "Okay, so then don't be afraid." And she reiterates those words that are in my heart, in the depth of my heart. She says, "Am I not here? I am your mom, and I love you. Be not afraid." Those ended up being the last words she would tell me. The next day I go to work, and she makes her way to the hospital, and we never have a conversation after that, like a full, a conversation that we can understand each other. And those are the last words that she said. So be not afraid. And so I kind of taken it to heart, and just recognizing her presence, that I'm here. And even in the midst of her being in heaven, like, I'm still here, and she's been with me all along. And so, yeah, those were the two pivotal moments of our relationship.
Wow.
And
Beautiful. I love that. Be not afraid, because people that are experiencing not only cancer, but any struggle in life and any type of chaos, what happens is that, our brain does three things. We either fight, we freeze, or we flee, right? We run. But these words are powerful. Be not afraid. Be not afraid, because I think that when you tap into that energy of trusting in God, right? Because that's really what she was saying. It's like trusting because you're not going to be afraid. I think that the trust in God and the trust in the process of life, you know, I think it's beautiful because even when I went through cancer, it was like I never asked why me, you know. It was because it was like, why not? You know, I see a lot of little children having cancer and other people having cancer. So it was like, why not? But it was, I had to sit still in the thought of why not, you know, and just sitting still and trusting, okay, if it was time for me to leave, I would leave. If it was time for me to stay, I would stay. But trusting in whatever happened, you know. So
Yeah.
I really love what you just shared. It's a beautiful story. And what we're hoping is that we reach millions of people that are going through some type of chaos, specifically cancer, so that we can light a match and give them hope. You know, they can see that little match of light, even if it's little or if it's big, they can see the light at the end of the tunnel and they can have some hope and saying, you know what, let me keep going, because sometimes we tend to want to give up. So thank you. Your story is very meaningful. I'm going to bring your dad and then I'll bring you guys up in a minute. Beautiful. There we are. So Rene, what do you want to say, Rene? I know it's hard as a dad, as a husband, as a friend to Raquel, because you were everything. I mean, I would see you guys as a couple, and it was a magical moment, you know. It was growing old and being together forever, no matter what, and still seeing, I know that you're together no matter what. So tell us a little bit about your experience and what you would like other people to know so that we can give them hope.
Well, first of all, congratulations on making your dream come true with this book. And on behalf of all the people that are going to read it, thank you. Thank you for what you have endured yourself, and also having all these authors share their story, tell their story, which is extremely important in our time of life, because one of the things that Raquel and I we started to establish was to create a foundation of what we wanted to have as a family, and we started that within our courtship, and it kind of was a little bit difficult because it was challenging at times to go against the current of her family, my family, society in itself. But we established something that we wanted for us to do, that foundation. And we built on that. And part of that foundation was to actually love and be loved. And I think that we express ourselves immediately of all our hurts we had endured in the past, physically, emotionally, and even psychologically. And we just told our story to one another. Based on that, we wanted to have a family that was part or sitting on that foundation that we wanted. And Raquel and I, we had to grow together. We had to know each other better. We had to love each other better. And it was something on a daily basis. And I think that when we gave ourselves totally, without exception, unconditionally, I think that pushed us to the point that, you know, God's sense of humor allows us to have this new journey of known as breast cancer. And it really, we always, the best description was that when we were told our world just stopped, and we had to see how the foundation that we wanted to hold up, how it was going to handle that. Of course, the children were already brought into the world, and we were having all of this wonderful things growing about. And I believe that the emphasis for one another was to be there for one another. And as a husband, going through everything that Raquel endured, my only possible full medicine, full acknowledgement, love was to be there. And praise God that I was able to go to every visit, every surgery, every treatment, every single thing, every single needle. I was present for her. And I actually grew myself in a lot of strength, overcoming fears of an injection, of a shot, because just witnessing how she would endure that was an example of full life, and all just to get better. And I think her actual growth of love, of trying to do her very best, was a true testament, a true witness of how much love she had for God and how she was responding to God's love and to mind ourselves. And I think that that captured, pretty much everything. But I was learning also during that course of 11 years and a half with breast cancer to live our moment, to live our present. And that became such an important tool to me after her passing, because now I had to exactly do that, to be able to live my present, live my moment in the very best capacity that I could. And it has really strengthened me. And we have a lot of things that we have celebrated her life, her legacy, and our community here in Laredo and surrounding cities have also joined in that support of her legacy and trying to tell their own story of how Raquel impacted their lives, either through her song, through her music, but just to her love towards one another and trying to listen to them and helping them out. And we try to fill up and continue with that legacy. And I thank you for the opportunity that the entire tribe was able to become an author. And I think that I would really want to kind of, be quiet about it and let them share that story. I always do in my presentations, what have you. But what they've done here, thank you. Thank you, Angelica, because it's something that we had envisioned to have. But now you made our dream come true.
Well, it's my honor to have all of you in this book. And again, knowing that people go through a different journey every time and it's a struggle, but yet being able to live that moment. I mean, I tell everybody, like, make every moment count, live it like it's your last day. Myself, I don't know if you guys heard my story, but for 7 years, I was in and out of the hospital, in and out. And it was like, I was living my moment, even if I was in the hospital or wherever I was. It was like, okay, I'm here, But I did say, hey, God, if I'm going to be here, then I'm going to go do bigger things, And now I'm connecting with people around the world and writing books. And I'm a publisher and, connecting with people like you that have beautiful stories to share, because I want us to live, leave, and lead a legacy for generations to come, because we're not going to live forever, but our book and our stories and our message will outlive us. And I want our kids to know our message and know how we coped with chaos and struggle. So thank you, Rene. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm going to put Raquel's Sin Merecerlo song. So give me a second, and then we'll continue with the interviews. Let me see how this is going to work. Since I'm working using, okay. I'm hoping I'm able to share the song or no.
Un día mi vida se detuvo al descubrir que mi cuerpo padecía hablar, pero jamás imaginé que en mí existía. Porque, Señor, hoy padezco esto. ¿Qué hice para merecerlo? No pude, pero me puse a pensar. Otros sufren más que yo, y sin merecerlo.
Such a beautiful song. And I just want to tell the audience and whoever's listening, we're going to share the link because it's a gorgeous song. Like, you need to listen to it all. I just don't want Facebook to kick us out because they think we're stealing your song, Rene. You know, they're so critical about the songs. But, you know, Facebook, this is the Ramirez's tribe and Carlos Rene's song. So keep us here live, please. Don't kick us out. So anyways, who would like to go next? I know we have Rita. Rita, I kind of want to leave you towards the end because you put a lot of energy into the chapters. And I really want to keep you towards the end. So who of the other two would like to go next?
Come on, Ricky.
I know.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. Well, just tell us like who you are, and then maybe tell us like what type of support that you need or that you get in order to go through this journey of cancer with your mom.
My name is Carlos Ricardo Ramirez. Everyone knows me as Ricky. And going through this journey, I was 10 when all of this started. So being a 10-year-old, hearing the words cancer, I piggyback off what my sister said. It's just, you lived in a world where you had a lot more questions than answers, and you had some idea of what was reality. And being sheltered as one of the young ones, because I am number 7 of 8, being sheltered with some information, being left out with good reason. It was living a life of questions and not having any answers. One thing that I did know that was very clear was the instruction I had at hand, which was to love mom, to make mom happy. That's one thing that Dad did emphasize with all of us when he had the difficult task of addressing each and every one of us individually. It was hard on both sides, receiving and giving that message. But when he gave us something to do, it gave us something to look forward to. And I took that to heart. I think we all did. And because of it, I was blessed to be the one that pretty much told mom, you know what, from here moving forward, you don't have to be in the kitchen. And I don't mean that in the sense that, don't cook. It's more of, let me cook for you. So, starting at the age of 10, having that love and that help that they said, we will let you experiment, we'll let you try, we'll let you be behind the kitchen. So there's a lot of fun learning experiences that I have under my belt. A lot of messes I had to clean because I didn't know how to use certain things. Even to this day, there's a lot of messes I still have to clean. But nonetheless, mom and dad's love and support for me to try. And that was the big thing, try. Moved me to become the cook that I was and the cook that I am today. I was blessed to be the one that took care of the meals. And then when I couldn't, Rita would step in and we would both take care of the meals for the family. So family of 8, it was, you're not cooking for 2 servings, you're cooking pretty much for 16 because everyone wants seconds, maybe thirds. And that was always a blessing. So moving and transitioning into married life, it's we always have leftovers. So that's just the way we operate now. But when it comes to things that helped me and things that allowed me to move forward, people knew who we were. People knew what we were going through. So I always had a shoulder to lean on in every aspect of life. So whether it be at home, I had siblings, I had my dad, and I had my mom to lean on. Even though she was the one battling through it all, she would still be there and still be that motherly shoulder that you need to lean on. And she never lost that, despite her pain, despite her suffering. At church, I had my mom's best friend who also played music with her in the choir, and that's where I spent most of my Sundays as well, just being part of the choir with mom and her friend, who we consider our aunt, Rita Diaz. And so I leaned on her whenever I couldn't anywhere else. And then at school, we had a lot of teachers, a lot of faculty that were great friends with the family. So needless to say, I was always watched over. And that was a huge, tremendous help coping through it all, because there were days where, you didn't know if that day would be the last day you saw your mom. So there was those times and having that fear. And quickly my friends really realized the weight of it all. So I think with that, they also kind of like provided that friendship that one would need as being a child who has to, go through life knowing that their mom can be called any day. So needless to say, the support was always there. And even now, moving forward and past all this, I know mom, I was very blessed to have mom see the fruits of what she brought when it comes to the gifts of talent and music with me. I am blessed along with many of us, but as far as those who show it in public, my brother Carlos Roberto and I, we're the ones that display the musical talents to the public eye, and because of it, she gave us that strength, she gave us that courage to be out and about, and I was very blessed to have her witness some of those fruits, have her witness the birth of the band that we have, and even those memories of my brother shared with my mom's procedure that she started walking again. I have one up to you, sorry brother, I went up to you when we started singing. She got up and danced, and that was amazing. How many? It was 2 months
After hip replacement.
After hip replacement, 2 months. We had a concert here. It was a big festival in Laredo, and we started singing a line dance song. Both my brother and I were on stage, and we just see her get up from her chair and start dancing. And we were excited, we were flabbergasted, we wanted to cry. But one thing that also lingered in the back of our heads is mom's message: when you're a musician, the show must go on. So we kept on singing because she would have gotten mad if we would have did anything else but that, But I am just forever blessed that she got to see that. And if she can see us where we're at today, I know she'd be very, very proud. And it's not the end of the road, and we're still moving forward. So this year looks like a very beautiful, promising year. And let's see what the Lord has for us.
Can't hear you.
It's beautiful to hear that she gets up to dance after 2 months of having surgery. And that just shows the courage and for her and her daring to be her, even through cancer, because that's what this whole book is about. It's daring to be whoever we are, but bigger, in a bigger way. And then here you see your mom showing up for you guys and telling you, you know what, I'm still here and I'm still going and I'm still enjoying life and participating in your events, which is beautiful. And that's exactly the message that we want to give to our audience. For those of you that are listening, you have to replay if you're just starting to watch, because the story that Carlos Rene and the Ramirez tribe are sharing is magical. It's going to inspire and it's going to bring hope to a lot of people that are experiencing cancer. And let's say not only cancer, but any type of chaos or struggle that they're going through. You have to read their chapter. It's amazing. I mean, I cried, but at the same time, there's a sense of love throughout the whole story, which is what Raquel was really about, love. So now, who's the next person? Tell me your name.
My name is
What's your name?
Ramirez. I am go by Rudy,
Carlos.
and I am the youngest.
Okay, Rudy. Beautiful, Rudy. What I want you to tell the story in the sense of, I know that you were young, but what do you need to tell other young children that might be through what you went through? How do we keep them going and inspiring them to either connect with someone when they're struggling, to speak up? I don't know. What message do you have for these young youth that might be struggling the way you struggled?
I think the message that I would, give to them is, no matter what they're going through, find someone to talk to. Because the worst thing that can happen is, they keep it in, and it just gets bottled up, and eventually it'll come out at the wrong time, and everything will come out all at once. So if anything, just find someone that you can talk to, whether it be some people do at school, the teacher, or friends or faculty, even maybe seeing like a counselor or someone, but just to have that, the conversation, that's very important, just so you can wrap around what is going on and make sense of it all. Because I remember when my mom was first diagnosed, I really had no idea. Like, I knew what it was. I knew it was bad, but at the end I just thought, it's my mom. She's not gonna, she'll beat it. That was my mentality. And I guess as time went on and I started understanding more, I tried looking for like people to talk to, but I guess I was one of those who didn't really speak up, and it did more damage than good. So at any point that you can speak up, do it. Just because it, like, after years of not speaking up or just holding it in, it'll get to the point where you're gonna feel overwhelmed, and overall is just done in well, and um, for the most part, just to try to gather your own, I guess, mental state, just to be prepared for to be there for your family or your friends or whoever, like, or however you're going through, however you're going through with something. Just be sure to not do it alone. Being alone is, it's always lonely, and you need a support system, and it's very important. Just to have something to anchor you down and keep you in your own zone, and not be afraid to, I guess, reach out as well.
Beautiful. And so one of the things that that I know that happens, even sometimes as a person that was going through cancer, and then my children, they thought many times like they can't really bother me because I was already in pain and suffering. So they didn't want to share their suffering with me, but I would see it and then I would approach them with it, But I think that it's healthy that even if you're young, that you communicate with your parents, whoever they are, if it's your dad or your mom that's going through cancer, that you talk to them about what you're feeling. Because I think Raquel, like Carlos Roberto said, and I think even Rita mentioned it when I was interviewing her for the chapter, that she, Raquel would say for you not to be in fear, right? What was the word? Tell me that again. Remind me the exact words she would say.
Be not afraid.
Be not afraid. There you go. So she would say, be not afraid. And so we want to really stress that for those of you that are listening. The Ramirez tribe is telling beautiful stories about their mom and encouraging you and offering you hope, which is long lasting, and it's really going to boost your courage and your bravery to continue no matter what. So our next person, and she's not the last because she's been involved with the whole writing, getting all the pieces from her siblings and then putting it together, and me calling her, I need more, let's meet, what do you mean, let's do this, and I need pictures, and me driving her crazy. So thank you, Rita, for all the energy you put into this, because it's a beautiful chapter. It's beautiful. But I want you to talk about what legacy is your mom leaving, and why is it so important for people to know that they need to live, leave, and lead a legacy in this world?
So one of the biggest things that my mom pretty much revolved around was music. And for her, I remember the stories of how she would start singing at 15, and she had her guitar. She would go to the high school and she would just serenade whoever wanted to listen, whoever wanted to hear, whoever wanted to request a song. She was always the one with her guitar. And I love to see the photos that, people have sent my dad where she's in her guitar, and, she looks so happy and she looks so free. And that was her passion. Music has always been her thing, and she had such a beautiful voice, and no matter what song, you could feel what the song was about, and you can she would radiate this remarkable feeling to where you would resonate with her, and depending on what it is that she was singing. And as my brother mentioned, Ricky and Beto are the ones who carry the music gene, and who, like he said, are out in public. And she always had the teacher in her. And, somebody would start singing, or sometimes I would just sing just for fun. And she goes, "Orale, no, do it like this." And I'm just like, I'm not trying to practice. I just want to sing. And she goes, "No, and she would try to harmonize it." And I'm like, "Oh, Mom, I really wish I would have listened to her, That way, maybe I could have been part of the band. But nevertheless, her legacy has been the music, and she sang for years and years, countless of weddings and funerals and quinceañeras and occasions and just pretty much anything and everything that you can think of. Serenatas, those were her serenades were very big. And I remember, for as long as I could remember, the serenades for Mother's Day, we would start at midnight. And, at first it was just her and, all the little kids all behind her. And then as he started to, Ricky and Beto started to use the guitar and be able to sing, like it became like this, family band. And we were just over here, the non-professionals in the background singing just what we could. And, it was, seeing it now, I appreciate all those family moments, all those family trips, all those family gatherings where we got to be there for her as she did what she loved to do. And she has her CD that she created when it was my dad's 50th celebration. It was a half and half between a CD release and his birthday. So you can find her music on YouTube. You can find her music on any musical outlet under Raquel G Ramirez, and all, her songs are there. And each song has a specific story. And to be able to have that at the tip of our fingers, now that especially that she's not here, to be able to have that when we need to hear her song, we need to hear her voice. Having that is such a blessing. And when we did the CD release, as far as we know right now, the CD has reached about 11 countries. So I mean, she's been all around the world. But I think that music is one of the things that she was most known for, and her faith. She sang a lot in masses and different parishes and for different events. So that's one of the main things. And her dove and her music, we all just yearn for her voice, because when we were kids, she would sing to us to sleep, and that I know that's one of the things that I miss. And even at 30 years old, I wish that I could have my mom sing to me one last time. But I think that having the opportunity to have her music out there is truly a blessing, and it's really amazing. And I hope that people continue to listen to her music and listen to her words and find some sort of either motivation, hope, inspiration, comfort, even, because a lot of the things that she says in some of the songs are really relatable, and they're things that people have gone through. So if you are able to listen to her music, everything that she's written has been from the heart, and has been from some sort of experience that she's gone through. And it's available to anybody. So if you have any outlet, any musical, either YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere, YouTube, anywhere that has the music, her songs are there. And it ties in well to this chapter, because her CD is called Sin Merecerlo, and it's based off on her cancer experience. So I think the legacy that the boys will continue to honor her is through the music, which is something that I am so proud of, to be able to witness them also on stage, just as my mom would, and being able to hear her in certain tones and certain notes that they sing. I mean, it's truly, it's a blessing.
Wow, it's such a blessing, because I see your mom in all of you. I see your mom in what you do and your dedication, in your stories, like I can see your mom. And I just want to say that I used to go do serenatas with your mom, and I used to be in the choir, right, Renee?
Right.
But poor people, because I'm like you, Rita, like I am not a singer. I'm not a singer. I think people would probably block their ears or something. But yo trataba, yo trataba de cantar, and I would play my guitar the best I could. But, I'm a better writer and a better publisher and than I am a singer. But I really, like Raquel, like you have amazing children here and an amazing husband. And we honor you forever. And I'm so grateful that all of you are here. I don't know if you have any special message. Maybe I didn't ask something or a thought came and you want to be able to say it. This is your time.
What I do want to add is that what you mentioned right now, it's something that I try to always explain to the tribe, that whenever I want to see Raquel, all I got to do is just look harder on each one of them, and she's there. So, in my experience after her passing, that has been my strength, to where I see them and I see her. And I think that for those who are in my shoes, that you have lost a loved one, and you have your kids, look into your kids, and you'll see her or you'll see him in them. And that's a physical embrace, because at the beginning, that's one of our little therapies that we did. I asked them, as we're going about, and if there's a gesture, especially from this one, okay, if there's a gesture that they do, and you see your mom, go up to your sister, go up to your brother, and just ask, can I get a hug? That meant that their mom was seeing them, and they were supposed to respond with that hug. That experience started to heal faster, and have that love that you're talking about, Angelica, grow stronger. And it wasn't a weakness or a desire or just, looking in the past that she's no longer here, but being able to experience her love now through each other. And I think that that's a beautiful blessing. The last thing I just want to share also is that the community has responded as well. The community has done things like, for example, we have we have this, that the city of Laredo has changed the name of the Santo Niño WIC Clinic into this. They put our names now, and they have renewed the name of that. I know that Junior has been very instrumental, and thanks to his efforts. We also have one of our county treasury with the county. He started also a support for cancer, and Raquel was used as the first legacy to be honored for those who have lost the battle or who have passed away because of that. And the community has really come strong to us, and I think that it's because of what these kids within the tribe they've been doing to honor their mom has kind of gotten contagious with the community that also loved her. Those of you who have your loved ones and who have done something remarkable in your lives as a family, get it out there and celebrate the life, because the love never ends, because the love never dies. And that's one of the things, that the love that we have from her, we continue in that. It's not a fantasy. It's not pretending. It's the authentic love of being able to share with one another. So I think that for us, this is a wonderful opportunity to tell the story. And I'm hoping that everybody, get your hands on that book. I'm waiting for the book because I promise not to read, okay, but what is there. Although we're missing one girl, okay, because of course another girl is in heaven, but the one that we're missing her now because she, after completing 5 years of being a teacher, 5 years of being a coach, she decided, because of the experience of her mom Raquel, our daughter Raquel has now become a nurse. And presently, at this very moment, she's working at the hospital because of the love she endured and saw that her first passion was to help others, try to save others from illness. So Raquelita, as we call her, distinguishing between Raquel and Raquelita, we're missing her because right now, presently, she's working at the hospital as a nurse. So that's why she's not among us right now. But that testimony tells it all, okay? That she's out there doing that.
Well, Raquelita, we send you a big hug and we thank you for contributing to this amazing book. Like, I just wish I could meet you. I will have a live radio studio where I'm going to be hosting my show. So I will invite all of you, but whoever comes live, you can be here in Dallas and be in the studio where I'm going to be having my own radio show. So it would be an honor to have you there. And then I know that some of you sing, so you can come and sing there too, so people can get to know you. So anybody else want to say anything before we leave?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity to share my mom's story and to share my siblings' stories. Like I mentioned before, each one of us experienced something different, but the ultimate thing was that we wanted to honor her in the best way possible. And I think, our own words come from the heart and they're our personal experience. I think, and I hope that whoever reads the book gets their hand in the book, being able to find some sort of healing, comfort, or just, something that's going to help them through if they're currently going through something. But I want to thank you for also being patient with me because I know it was a little, back and forth, but thank you so much for that.
Yeah, but that's how it is when you're a writer, like you just refine it. And even we refined it so many times, like this whole book, not just the chapter. We always find something to refine. It's just like life, we're refining ourselves constantly to be the best version of ourselves. And so that we can show up to the world and, just be the best that we can. And that's what we're asking everybody who's watching, like, show up, dare to be you, no matter what the circumstance is. This is your time to live. This is your time. Like, make every moment count because you just never know. There's 1.9 million people that are being diagnosed with cancer every year. And what we want to do is we want to touch more than 1 million lives and being able to tell them it's okay. There's communities, there's support systems. Our co-authors are here to support you, to share a golden nugget of hope, inspiration, and lots of love. In this chapter, you're going to find lots of love. So come and delve into that love so that you can fill your cup up and then you can go and empty it in somebody else's heart that's needing that love, just like Raquel did. She filled her beautiful children's heart with love and joy and hope, and now they're sharing it with you. So I'm so delighted that you guys are here. I'm going to show this video. Just give me a second. So I just want to thank everybody, and especially all of you, the Carlos Rene and the Ramirez tribe for being here and sharing your message, because you know what? Our message will live for generations to come, so that our children's children's children will know Raquel's story. They will know your emotions, your feelings, and your message for centuries to come, because everybody's going through some type of chaos. And I want to be able to, with your help, to be able to reach and deposit love, hope, and inspiration, so that people can keep going. You know, John Maxwell says, if you fail, fail forward. So if you're going to fail, fail forward, but fail with somebody on your side so that they can lift you. And this family here is what they're doing. They're lifting people's spirit with their music, with their love, and with their energy. So again, thank you so much. And we want to ask Rotary clubs, commerce clubs, anyone who wants to buy this book. And then there's the oncology centers. We sit for anywhere between 6 to 8 hours receiving chemo. Go buy and donate books to these oncology centers, so that we can put these books in people's hands that are going through cancer, and that we can bring a smile, we can bring hope, we can bring love into their heart. And I know that with your help, those of you that are watching, you can help us make a difference and reach millions of people. And my main goal overall, portions of the sales of this book, is to help children that are experiencing some type of cancer and that need some type of organ and need money to get the organ and go get the surgery. So let's put it out there. And I really appreciate everybody. Any last messages before we go?
Yes, real quick, if it's okay. One thing I want to share is, I know we talked about legacy, and you mentioned how you want to share something that will be lasting many generations. One of the things that we came up with is, my mom, we actually found a video not too long ago when she first got her CD, and she said that this is going to be the legacy she leaves behind. So luckily for us, like, we have somewhat of a bragging rights to where we recognize we get to share my mom's voice with the entire world with her music. Well, my pops, my dad, he mentioned how he had that same desire. And although it's for us, mainly his children, one of the things that I've told my mom and my dad is said, it's a pity if the world doesn't recognize their wisdom, because they have so much to offer. And so one of the things that we did was, my dad and I, we have this podcast that we would love to share with you and to all of your listeners, so that they get to hear the experiences in a very real way. And this podcast is called the Delia a Dad podcast, right? The Delia a Dad podcast is available on, all the audio platforms. But one of the interesting things, because we're honoring my mom, she actually makes her presence known in every single episode that we talk about, because it's mainly about family. It's mainly about being able to be present with the family, but then also for dads and for husbands. We have a portion dedicated to faith. But what's interesting is, although it's geared to dads because it's called Delia Dad, more women listen to it. So we're working on figuring out as to why and how that is. But we also recognize that it's sharing mom's story, because once again, she comes out in every single episode. And so we want to just share that with you as well. And you be best assured that your story, your book, will be mentioned in our podcast in a future episode. And so be assured of that. And just once again, thank you so very much for the opportunity to allow us, the entire Ramirez tribe, to be present in your show, in your book. And we cannot wait to see what blessings transpose because of your work. And so once again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Well, I send you hugs to all of you and all the listeners. Thank you. Lots of kisses, and know that you have to make every moment count. I am Dr. B, known as the Ultimate Legacy Builder, and it's all about living, leaving, and leading a legacy forever, so that your story and you mark the world with your presence. So again, thank you, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow, because I have 3 more co-authors showing up. So see you tomorrow. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm trying to